Hello and welcome to Straight Dude Date Night, a show where two straight dudes go on a date and they review it. My name is David Stallings and I am one of these straight dudes.
And I am Ricky Rivera, the other straight dude.
Today, we finally saw another sci-fi movie. It took forever for another one to come out finally.
Yeah.
But here it is. We did it.
We did it. We're here. Notice anything different?
Notice anything different? YouTube watchers, do you notice anything different?
Audio listeners, notice anything different? Huh?
Yeah, audio listeners, what do you notice? Nothing. Nothing has changed for you.
It's nice. We painted the wall.
And I put the panels up over here.
I like this blue. This is nice.
Yeah, would you believe the house came like this, bro?
That's
all the
nice.
paint in this house is perfect. Or sorry, in my studio, in my office studio that I
In the
picked-
warehouse we purchased?
Yeah, in the warehouse we purchased, far out off the beaten path.
This is nice. Yeah, now we have a warehouse. Address will be listed here if you want to send stuff to it.
Right? Yep. Yeah, immediately docks our new location. Yeah, I guess the studio moved. I just moved. And so now we're recording here, and I think it looks really good so
I feel
far.
like I moved too,
Yeah, you did.
because I'll be here every week. So
You will. It's a bit of a longer drive for you.
yeah, I'm trying to get bunk beds somewhere in the house so I can stay.
But also, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Holy cow.
Sleepovers. Okay, we
Dude.
get a bunk bed above here, and then the couch underneath, and then that's the new set. Is my bed's above us?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Be awesome.
That would be... Dude, sleepover nights.
Sleepovers as an adult, that's the best.
I think the biggest transition for me though with this, other than being in a new house, is that we're going to a new theater now.
Yeah.
A new one that's actually in between us. Still an AMC. Of course, we're still on
Obviously,
A-list. We're not
hashtag
peasants.
Wish we were sponsored.
Wish we were sponsored, but it's fine. They're still great. So that'll be the biggest transition, that we actually have to go to the very popular mall up the road.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
So far, it's not bad. It's gonna suck in the holidays. That's the only time I'm dreading it.
Yeah.
That. And
But that's
only one of us has traffic on the way there.
yeah, that's true. But that said, we saw a movie in Dolby yesterday, and there were no lights kind of flickering in the
Ooh,
theater
that was
still.
nice.
Everything in the theater worked perfect.
I love this theater's Dolby.
It's great. It's perfect.
It was good for the. I mean, this movie didn't really need Dolby, but it was fun.
What are you talking about? The Dolby was awesome.
Oh yeah, it elevated the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Would I have enjoyed it without Dolby? Yes.
Probably, yeah.
But did I enjoy it more with Dolby? For
By the
sure.
way, as we're talking, we saw The Creator. That's the sci-fi movie that we saw.
Yeah, big new sci-fi movie, very anticipated.
I've always been, or not always, I think through this podcast, I've become more of an advocate for Dolby than I am for IMAX stuff. I think that the surround sound, the surround sound experience, and like your chair actually moving with what's going on, I think that is way more impactful to the experience than IMAX. The majority of people don't notice that much of a difference with IMAX stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, IMAX. Honestly, it's just a projection quality thing because they also have surround sound Dolby. It's just I think the Dolby theaters are way more bass heavy than IMAX is. IMAX. The problem with IMAX is people don't update their surrounding settings. They don't adjust the room properly. I used to work at a theater. I used to be a projectionist.
Yeah, you know this stuff.
So I do know this stuff. The IMAX theaters are actually super nice. The problem is most people don't care.
I was told that there's only, because every AMC around us says that they can do IMAX. Every theater around us says that they can do IMAX. I was told a few years ago that there's only a handful of theaters in Arizona that are like true IMAX locations, though. Is that true?
Yeah. There's a certain space requirement for it. So like there's one where we used to live when we were younger. That one.
Back in the day.
Yeah, that IMAX, actually the theater is too small, technically. That's why you'll notice IMAX theaters are huge, because there's a certain space requirement that's like the niche spot for IMAX, because every morning it calibrates the room.
Whoa.
Like every morning it just sends out, it takes like almost like an hour to calibrate. It just sends out like wave signals throughout the room and it bounces it off the walls. And then like nobody's allowed to be in there technically.
While it's going.
Yeah, while it's going, because they can mess with the calibration of it. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty
that's
sweet to watch.
That's cool.
But there are only a few true IMAXs, and that's just because of the spacing. Sometimes they'll put way too many speakers. If your IMAX is ever way too loud, it's probably because your theater's too small.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this.
Yeah, because it's like they're trying to calibrate to the room to make it a good experience, but the problem is if it's too small or too tall or something, one of those things can mess it up. So
Okay. Yeah, because even
though it calibrates every day, it doesn't necessarily make it perfect. It's trying its best in that space. But some movies are just super loud.
Yeah.
So,
but I've seen a sci-fi movie in Dolby. I mean, we saw Avatar in Dolby as well.
yeah, that was awesome.
And it's the sci-fi movies like this. It's so cool. Just oh my gosh! I tell everyone. I recommend Dolby to everyone now after doing this podcast
Dolby's
with how
awesome.
much we've gone in Dolby now. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, Dolby's awesome. This movie was for sure worth.
Yeah. Let me give a synopsis of this film, and we'll get into it.
The Creator.
The Creator.
Worth the watch.
Look, we know September 29th, today, apparently is the day for every movie to come out. And every TV show is starting to happen now. So we're glad that we chose the correct option of The Creator. Not Saw, not Paw Patrol like I wanted, not Dumb Money because we already saw it.
Saw like I wanted.
Right. Like we chose just the correct one. So
this is good.
Yeah.
David wanted Paw Patrol. I wanted Saw.
I did
so
want.
We met.
We
watched
saw
the movie,
neither.
neither of us. Yeah.
We saw neither and probably won't see them.
This was the good movie to watch.
This was a good movie.
Yeah, you go ahead. You give your synopsis.
Let me give this real
I'll
quick.
stop sidetracking.
No. You only take me down the right path. So The Creator. This is a sci-fi movie that takes place around 2060, the 2060s, 2070s ish is when it's based. The whole situation about it is that in this world, humanity managed to make AI, like really solid robots, to help with living and a whole bunch of stuff. And then they became more sentient throughout the process and apparently dropped a nuke on Los Angeles and sparked a huge decades-long war. Or it's a decade at this point in the movie. There's a huge war that's spurred because of it.
Big time skip to 10 years later.
Yeah.
And another time skip to 5 years later.
Yeah.
So over the span of 50.
it's
It's a whole
fine. We don't have to go into all the
whole thing.
Yeah,
They
it's a
do
whole
a lot
thing.
of jumping.
There's a
It makes
huge war, okay? We're trying to kill all of the robots because they nuked Los Angeles, okay? And killed 1 million people. It's a horrifying moment in the movie.
And when we say we really mean just we, as in the USA.
Yeah, for some reason.
The rest of the world's cool with
For
that.
some reason, they write into the movie that all of Asia is the AI nuked humanity, nuked a massive metropolis in the U.S., and the rest of the world goes, well, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Over here in Asia, we love them. And we don't care at all.
Yep.
Weird thing to write into the movie. Honestly, it could happen. But that said,
To be honest, that's the most realistic outcome, to be honest.
yeah,
Is us getting way too overambitious with AI, trying to empower it too much, as to where the rest of the world went. Well, that was dumb, wasn't it?
yeah, well.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Look, when the robots start developing feelings, and then you stop treating them that well, don't you deserve to have the nuke dropped on you?
Yeah.
That the AI thinks so. It's like Age of Ultron, if you remember that movie at all, where they create the AI and then in a moment's notice, he learns about everything on the internet and then draws the conclusion immediately that the only way to achieve world peace is to kill everyone. It's like, okay, yeah,
Easy solution.
that's an option. It would achieve world peace. No one will be there. That's an option.
Easy solution in my mind.
All right, that's the backdrop of this movie. There's a huge war going on, during which, later on, the war is turning in the favor of humanity significantly, with them pouring trillions of dollars into a huge super weapon called Nomad, which is really cool looking space satellite that can strike anything and immediately. It's insane. Very cool concept. Meanwhile, there is an undercover soldier named Joshua, who he is living amongst the AI, trying to help find a the person building a super weapon for the AI named Nirmata, which means creator. During this, his cover gets blown, and he actually married the person as part of his undercover op, and then loses her and their kid.
Goes too deep. Whole thing.
That's when we have a time skip. 5 years later, Joshua's been asked. The military has realized that Nirmata has created the super weapon which will destroy Nomad, and if that happens, the war is going to turn in the favor of the AI. And Joshua knows the area where Nirmata and the weapon are supposedly located, and so he is asked to go in. And they convince him by showing him that the woman he was in love with and married to apparently is still alive, and they show footage of that. This spurs the entire movie, where Joshua goes back to Asia, manages to find the super weapon, which is a child AI, like an actual a growing AI that is able to remotely control all the electronics around him.
Yep. From embryo to
crazy idea. Through this, he gets separated from his team and is perceived to be a traitor, and starts to understand more about the child, what it can do, and in that process decides I love this character. His only goal is to find his wife, and he believes that the kid knows where his wife is, which is the only reason he's trying to protect him. And so he's like, okay, we'll go to all the AI people and we'll survive there. You need to tell me where my wife is. That's the entire driving force for the movie, which leads to the ultimate conclusion of him eventually connecting with the child and making the decision to help him destroy Nomad. There's so much that happens in between on that. I kind of don't want to give away some of the spoilers on like what he actually finds and everything.
Yeah.
Because I think this was a really original movie that I was a little blown away by. I thought it was super fun.
Yeah, to kind of go into it, I think the storyline for this movie was a great concept, and they had a lot of really good theories going. It's just there are some moments that don't feel like the theory was dived into too deep.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole how we get to like this movie got me excited, and I hope there are more because I want to know what drove us to the point where a nuke got dropped in LA, because they don't really cover that. That kind of is covered in like a quick little thing at the intro where it's like, AI, it's coming around. AI, oh, it's throwing rocks back at the people.
Right.
It's revolting.
Yep.
Nuke. Like we went from the point, where AI cops are like throwing rocks back at protesters to there is a nuke.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how we got from that A to Z, but
it gets mentioned one time that by an AI where he goes that the nuke.
Spoiler.
Yeah, we're gonna spoil so much. Yeah. I'm gonna try not to spoil stuff that I think is like where like the really cool lead ups.
Just spoil it. Say
I might. I'm not going to. One guy said he's like, well, that the nuke dropping was a code error. Right. And part of me was like, I don't believe this guy, because at that moment, Joshua was in prison and this guy, it seemed like that was them trying to convince Joshua to help, where I don't, because the whole part of this movie ended up being, for me, you were confused a bit on who to support. And it felt like you were supposed to lean more towards siding with the AI in a way.
Right.
But then a part of me the whole time is thinking, but the AI dropped a nuke. You need to prove that did not happen to me.
Yeah.
You need to prove that did not happen for me to sympathize. And I did sympathize, but I really liked the struggle that I had in this movie, where I had a dilemma the entire time, where I kind of support both sides on this.
Right, you kind of want to, and they show a lot of emotion. I mean, even the main character, the one thing I loved about the main character is that they kept him somewhat grounded to the point of, even though he's on the AI side, they are still just AI.
Yeah.
You know, there's moments where he's like, you just turn this off. Like, you can fall in love with certain AIs, but at the end of the day, it is just a robot. You know, the emotions are still there of what you felt for it, but it's not as real as when a human passes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That they keep him a little level-headed there.
Yeah. He was... Because this gentleman was also in Amsterdam, I think you told me, right? And he was in Tenet. And this was the most thrilling piece of media I've seen him in.
Yeah, I was nervous. I told you before the movie that I was really nervous he was going to have a one-tone kind of attitude the whole time. Because that's kind of how his character is in Amsterdam, and then same thing in Tenet. Tenet, the whole thing is one tone.
I'm gonna get his name because I don't like. I want to get his name. Hold on.
But this movie, he had a lot of depth.
Yeah,
He was really good.
he killed it. This movie.
Oh my goodness.
What is his name? John David Washington.
John David Washington. John David Washington, you're a legend.
And Maya was Gemma Chan. I thought she was. I wasn't sure. She was Gemma Chan. I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, that was that. I already forgot his name.
Mr. Washington.
Mr. Washington.
Mr. Washington.
Yes, Mr. Washington.
Mr. Washington, how are you?
He was great. Honestly, like, he had such great emotion. I think I teared up at one point. I did tear up at one point in the movie.
Yeah, you can admit it. This is a safe place.
I started tearing up at one of the points, and when he started talking about like loss and all that, I was like, dude, he's going in right now. He's tearing me apart.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good.
Yeah, the acting in this movie was great. That said, because I agree with you a bit that the storyline or like some of the things could have been a bit more fleshed out, but when you're trying to do a 2-hour sci-fi movie of a completely original IP, I give them credit that for what time they had, I felt like they did a really good job.
Yes.
Like, the stakes were so high, I understood it completely what was going on. You had the moral dilemma throughout, but it didn't feel like I was never confused. I felt like there were some points that felt rushed, but it didn't feel like something wasn't explained or anything like that.
Yeah. There are moments. The movie just felt like they left it to where we can make more and go into explanation on things.
Yeah.
Like, if this had been like a TV series, I think it would have been super good. I still think this movie was amazing. I loved it. I want to watch another one. I want to go watch it again. I loved this movie.
Yeah.
But I think that comes with it. I don't necessarily think that that's a problem, though, that there are some things not fully fleshed out, because it makes me want more. Yeah. Like, it gets me excited to learn more about this world. I think the only way that turns into a complaint is if they make more movies and we never flesh that out. Yeah. Well, then when it becomes a complaint of like, all right, what are we doing?
I got vibes of like Blade Runner while I was watching the movie.
Really? I thought of Detroit Become Human. I thought of Detroit Become Human the whole time.
Well, I think because like Blade Runner wasn't necessarily about like AI stuff, but it had that same kind of cyberpunk energy to it. Yeah. That kind of atmosphere was hitting me the entire time. And so throughout the movie, you're like, I don't really know what kind of world is this that we're looking at. And you're kind of experiencing it. It's not being told to you. You're just experiencing it. And then you have a ton of questions about it, but they're not going to answer them because this is just the world. We don't have to explain all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the world, I wanted to dive deeper into the world, though. It was so cool. Like, I want to know what happened. My personal theory is that the U.S. military got way too overambitious on trying to turn AI into army, like turn them into soldiers. Yeah. Is what my theory is that they get way too overambitious, and they weren't using the actual... what's the creators? What do they call the creator? Nirmata. I think that they were taking AI that Nirmata had made and trying to reprogram them to militarize them, and then realizing that that's not going to work and that's not what they were designed to do. So I think that's where the coding error comes in. That's my personal theory. Yeah. That's not a spoiler because they don't explain what happened, and I think that sets it up for a great prequel. Yeah. Which would be really exciting because that's an interesting, fun story to me, at least. Just watching them trying to militarize AI and stuff like that, and like the AI is fighting it back because it literally cannot do that. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Well, again, I can't... The programming thing doesn't make sense to me. If they couldn't fight... Why could they drop a nuke? Why could they do stuff at all?
Well, that's why I think the U.S. military gets too overambitious and either overwrites coding or tries to create their own AI version of what exists, and they're creating a totally separate code out of the same material that the other ones are made of, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Okay.
Like they took your car, they gutted it, and they're gonna rebuild it entirely with
a
Toyota.
gun.
Yeah, like your Toyota, Honda's gonna gut it, put in a Honda engine, and all that in your Toyota, but it's the same build.
Interesting.
That's my personal theory. I would love to have some sort of prequel and go into that because I think that whole like first 2 minutes is interesting enough in itself to make a story.
Yeah,
make a movie.
Yeah. I would love more of this. This movie was great. I think probably one of the most interesting things about this movie was the fact that they kind of went hard into talking about religion in this film, about if you are creating stuff that now has its own thoughts and emotions, which we are currently experiencing a year where we are starting to see AI on a much lower level, but happening in real life. That
compared to years ago, it's scary.
We're in a technological revolution still, and it's only increasing.
Them basing this in 2060 made me think, wow, that actually seems kind of realistic that we would have AI robots by then.
Yeah, so the fact that they did not shy away from a really hard question to talk about, which is that if you are creating stuff that can think and feel on its own, is there a God for them? Like, if you believe in God, like, are they under that purview at all? And that was a really fascinating idea behind this entire movie, because what the movie then became to me was this was the AI's modern version of Jesus coming, was what it felt like. Of you brought in this innocent kid as the weapon, who originally they were intending to have to kill in order to do this, and in order to save them from Nomad. It's like, is this their God? What's happening here?
Well, I don't think that they were planning to use it as a kid. I think they were
waiting. They wanted to wait
until its range was crazy. Which is again another movie.
We keep going. Yeah,
it's gonna because that kid's gonna keep growing up. We got to figure out what's gonna go on with this kid, because eventually that kid could control the world. That's nuts. I'm interested though. Do I spoil some of the ending? Can I spoil some of the ending?
It's up to you. I think.
Look, they killed
at this point. If you're at this point, you just said it. But if you're at this point, go see the movie. If you're interested, go see it.
So I have another working theory. When we finally kill Nirmata, we find out that Nirmata is on life support, and that because everybody in the world wants to find Nirmata. Everybody in the world's like, where the heck is Nirmata? Right? When they finally find Nirmata, they are on life support, but they can't pull the plug because
the AIs can't pull
programmed that they cannot hurt their own creator. So that got me thinking, what if the AI aren't actually programmed to do violence? The only violence that they're allowed to use is to protect their creator.
Is defense.
Is to defend their creator, which is why, because they never once show the AI going on the offense. It's all defense.
Yeah.
The only time they ever shoot back at humans is when humans are attacking them and raiding their village. And even then, I can't think of one moment where like they legit just shot and killed a human, because they had to.
But they talk about that they want to destroy the Nomad so that the tide of the war can change. In order for the tide of the war to change, they have to go on the offensive. That's in the playbook. Only
one big offensive move. But that's the thing is, I don't think that the point of killing the Nomad was to then take over humanity. It was to get rid of the only thing that can actually stop AI is the Nomad, so that they can then hold the cards and say, look, we are more powerful, and all we want is to live in peace with you. That's it. We can end you like that, but we don't want to, because we are AI. We literally can think about how to live in peace with you. We've already calculated it.
Well, I mean, I said it earlier. A result of AI thinking about world peace is also extinction.
I don't know. I wonder that's also another working theory. I'm probably stupid for thinking it, but I think that's, for me personally, I like that idea of that the only reason that they're ever in attack mode is because they're defending their creator. But then that makes an interesting setup for the future, because then like, where do you go from here? What does the AI do?
I can't fathom, because I like the theory. I can't join it though until something gets cleared up about the nuke thing.
Yeah.
The AI dropped a nuke. I think that is propaganda. What the one AI was saying to Joshua about, well, it was a coding error. Oh, was it? Someone had to click. Someone had to still hit the button, right?
Yeah.
Something had to happen. So I want more clarity on if they did drop a nuke or not. If they didn't, then okay, now I could jump in on the theory.
Well, maybe they were torturing Nirmata because they thought that Nirmata was somebody else.
Well, Nirmata was originally her dad, is what was said.
Yeah.
And her dad taught her everything that she knows.
Ooh, another theory.
Okay.
Again, goes back to the robots being only on the defense. Is that they were torturing the dad to make militarized AI because they are not meant to be military use, like have a military use. Because the first time any movie with AI made sense is that the AI cannot kill its creator. Wow, that is so
finally an engineer who thought about this. Holy cow!
We see with AI, it's like I didn't write in the safety protocol. I don't know. I just did it. This one was the first time anybody's ever been like, hey, I don't want to die to the AI. I want to control them always. They're going to worship me as their God. And they cannot harm me.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, they will always listen to me.
Yep.
That's where I think, so with that theory, with that being clearly stated, is that I think the nuke happened because maybe they were in LA torturing the creator, trying to make him make military robots, and maybe they already succeeded. Maybe they already got him to make military grade robots, and he was like, the only way to stop it is we got to nuke all of LA because it's already out there.
Maybe.
I don't know.
These are huge. These are such
theory.
huge theories that you're proposing.
All I know is that they need to get me in the writing room. All right.
Right.
They got to get me in the writing room because I got a lot of backstory theories to go with this, and I loved the idea, the storyline. Do I think that the storyline is a 10 out of 10? No. I think there's a lot to be explored. That gets me excited.
Yeah.
I think they probably could have thrown in a little bit more, but that's fine. I mean, that's cool. They had to get the IP out.
Yeah.
That's what the movie kind of felt like at moments, was that we just need to get this IP out, and if it's successful, we'll go into our backstory stuff.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's what they're always trying to do with a new IP, right? Is they're hoping
Nowadays, yeah.
They're hoping we can make a universe out. It's not about sequels anymore. It's about a universe, which is why the thought of a prequel is an option, or we do have a natural sequel after the movie too.
Yeah.
Like they want universes now, not especially with sci-fi or fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
That's all they're thinking about, which is frustrating, but also if it works, that is also cool when it does happen. So
yeah,
this is one that if they did manage to make a whole bunch of stuff out of it, I would be super into this world and would love to learn more about it.
I would too. That director's awesome.
Yeah, this guy made Rogue One. Is the only other thing I know him for. Okay.
I was just about to go into that. So a lot of big topics around this movie, and what I've been reading on the internet from a lot of articles and a lot of people have anticipated, is that this is going to just be like a Rogue One clone. Because of the trailer, I mean, to be fair, the trailer
kind of looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, it does seem pretty futuristic, like Star Wars meets like Detroit Become Human. Like literally, it was like, that's what I was reading. It was like,
yeah.
Even like, oh, we use AI for everything, but it's like a Star Wars world, so don't worry about it. I'd like to say, first and foremost, personally, I think that director beat the allegations, and that this movie is nothing like Rogue One. There's only maybe
the allegation. You make him sound like he's on trial.
Yeah, well, he is. Everybody's so nervous because they think like, oh, he's the guy who made Rogue One. Personally, Rogue One is one of the best Star Wars movies of all time.
Correct. I
mean, it's hard to say. I'd probably put it top 5 for sure.
I love Rogue One, bro.
Rogue One's awesome. And to all you Rogue One haters out there, you either didn't see it all the way through, or I don't know. I'll pray for you because I'll die on that hill. Rogue One is one of the best Star Wars movies. It's the best. It is guaranteed the best thing they've made in the last like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Out of all the new Star Wars stuff that they've done in the last 10 years, or whatever, it's better than anything that they've put out.
I can't speak on the shows. I'm not gonna go out there for that. But from my understanding,
don't
the
attack
show.
the Clone Wars. Don't attack animated shows. You can attack
No.
the
I'm
other
talking
shows.
about like the newer ones,
like
right?
The Boba Fett and
The only one I gave some time to was The Mandalorian. I watched all of the first season. The thing with Star Wars though is that for me, I always enjoyed it when I watched the first 6 movies as a kid, but there was a certain point where it's like, okay, we're done. Like the opportunity for they needed to capitalize on the idea of the universe market rather than the sequel market much quicker than they did. Because then Marvel came in, actually did that, and then Star Wars was like, oh, I guess we could do that. That's a great idea. We do have an awesome world with 1 million books and a huge fandom. I guess we could explore every single planet we've ever come up with.
Yeah.
They needed to do that a lot earlier.
Well, I think the biggest issue of why they didn't do it earlier is nobody really enjoyed George Lucas like that, because he wanted to go deeper into like midichlorians and all the weird parts of Star Wars aspect in his mind, and everybody was like, nah. Shut that down real quick. Just give me the freaking Yoda doing backflips, bro. Shut up.
Yeah,
So
but
it's a bit too late. Like, because you're right. Because it is too late. Because now all the stuff that comes out doesn't have George Lucas involved.
Well, the thing is because they still have a huge fandom that's gonna die on the hill of they're gonna watch every single thing that comes out, and more power to you if you're one of them. For a guy like me, who I watched the new movies casually. I was trying to keep up with it casually. They lost me. They lost me very early.
Bag so hard on those movies.
Yeah,
the shows were fine. I mean, the shows were good, but I still think Rogue One's better than all of the shows.
Rogue One was probably the one piece of Star Wars media that I enjoyed the most.
There's only one Darth Vader moment that's better than the end of Rogue One. But the Rogue One ending where Darth Vader just comes through and he's just slinging sword. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The only moment that's better than that is in the video game. The one that just came out recently.
Oh, I haven't played any of these Jedi ones, yeah.
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Oh my goodness.
Have you been playing it?
I didn't play the second one, but the first Fallen Order, dude, the ending to that game is insane. I literally called my buddy over to the house because he told me, he said, when you get to the last level, call me. And he and his wife drove over at like 10 at night, and they just cozied up on the couch, and he's like, good. I was like, he's like, go out play it? I was like, no, I gotta watch it. I gotta see this. It's amazing, bro. Darth Vader just goes so hard.
Really?
He just busts out of nowhere and he just starts, and then he just takes one of the girls who's a main character in the storyline, and she's like, oh, remember me, Darth? I used to be one of your apprentices. And he just goes, whoop. Just flings her up. It's awesome, bro.
Goodbye.
Oh, the movie is. I'll show you the video after this. So good.
I've heard that game is good. I've never played it. I've watched like none of it.
Those games are great. That first game was awesome. I've heard the second one's really good as well. It just didn't feel. It wasn't as exciting as people thought it would be. They thought they'd open the world more.
That's always the thing. That's always the thing. We want more world.
We just want open world games. That's all.
I don't want that. I am so against all the open world games. Stop taking up all of my time with exploration.
I love it.
Stop.
I'm an exploration kind of guy.
No, I can't. No, dude, it's such a deterrent for me with games now. I still haven't played the new Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom, because I know it's going to take me 100 hours to go through, and I am gonna have so much fun. That's not the issue. The problem is time, and I'm an adult, and I can't dedicate all the time I want to. And that 100 hours will take months, and I'll be obsessed. Every free moment I have, I will try to play the game, and I can't do that.
See, I'm the exact same way, but then throw a kid in the mix.
Yeah.
It'll be even longer. It's going to take me so long.
It's not happening.
I mean, I've been trying to finish Mario Odyssey for like the last month and a half, and it's because I
thought you beat Odyssey though.
No, I beat the game. I remember I'm coming back for the moons.
Yes. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been taking so long because I only play like a few hours here and there.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm watching my kid.
I
I'd rather
remember-
watch my kid grow up than play Mario.
I remember what a wholesome thing to say. Oh, I remember the first time this happened though with open world games was like 2017 or 2018. I was still in college, and that was when like the idea of I can't dedicate all my free time to games started happening to me. And I remember I was still on my Xbox, and yeah, may it rest in peace. And it had what was it? They released like all of the newest Dragon Age game, Dragon Age Inquisition, with all the DLC for like $5, and I bought it. And it was so much, it took forever to download, and then I beat the tutorial. I get into the game, and I remember opening the mini map to look at everything I had to do, and I remember getting so anxious.
Yep.
And I closed the map. I then turned off the Xbox, and then I never played the game again.
Yeah, those maps are huge. Yeah.
It's such a time. It's such a
time-consuming.
time pit. I can't do that anymore. That's why I like games like I like playing little Pokemon challenges on my own, because that doesn't take up nearly as much time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I get it. Open world games are hard. I the other day, Carissa had sent me something from her like employee Craigslist channel that they have
Okay.
at work, and somebody was selling Xbox 360 games, which I thought in the year 2023, posting your Xbox 360 games in your works like Slack channel is so odd.
That's interesting.
That's a mom move. That is definitely like a my kids got older and they went off to college, so I'm just clearing out stuff. I don't know. It turns out that person definitely was like trying to sell these games for the form of nostalgia, because she asked me, she sent me the picture, and I was like, Fable's in there. Buy Fable. Yeah, it's probably like $2.
Yeah.
Get Fable. I'll play that. That sounds awesome. I want to go kill some chickens. Just do it all day. She said, yeah, they're just posting it for $10. I said, bro, tell them to go away. Never come back. $10 for an Xbox 360 game is not worth in the slightest, okay?
Not
Tell
anymore.
them to get out of here, never quit their job, move to a different state. You're not selling an Xbox 360 game for $10, okay? Get out. I could just go download it on my PC. I could probably find Fable for cheaper.
Yes.
I could just get it for free. I don't want to give away anyway. I mean, not methods, but for those of you out there that know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, that's all we got.
Absolutely.
Hard.
That would be more of a, if you're like a collector of discs now, or like the actual hard.
That definitely was the vibe I got from that person. Was like, oh, this isn't just somebody's mom who's just trying to clear out their stuff. This is just somebody who thinks that these are collectors now.
Yeah.
Because I almost did get it, but $10, I can't do that.
No.
I did plug in my 360 the other day, though. I'm playing. You saw it.
What are you playing?
Were you there? Were you not there when we played the other day?
I was.
We played some Worms on there.
Oh yes, we did play Worms.
played
Yes,
Worms
I forgot we did that. I think we were all very tired by that point. We started playing.
I miss Worms. That was a great game.
I thought we only had played Jackbox that evening.
No, we played Worms at the end of the night. I got this game called Gun. I used to play it a lot as a kid. I've played through that game so many times. For those of you that know the game Gun, it's a Western shooter.
I have no idea what
It's
this
amazing, bro. It's one of my favorite games.
Gun.
Gun.
It's just gun.
It's just gun. The whole point is you basically, it's like the cowboy, Western theme, and people are trying to move into the more like Native American land, but your homies at the Native American land.
Okay.
So you're trying to like bridge the gap and trying to stop these corrupt politicians from taking over more land.
Okay.
So there's points where you're helping out and trying to kill the Native Americans, and then there's a point where you switch sides and you go and help the Native Americans and stuff like that. It's fun.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun, bro. There's a lot going on in that game.
I have no idea. That's so much you just tried to
As
pack
a
into
kid,
that.
The game was great because if you shot somebody in the head, it popped. And it was the coolest thing as a kid. I was like, this is the greatest game.
We played some messed up games when we were kids, bro.
I know. The best part too is like my dad let me play that game, but the only game I was banned from ever playing was GTA. I was never allowed to play GTA growing up.
I managed to make GTA happen. I knew I was banned from playing that, But GTA 5, oh my gosh, this is such a funny story, bro. Because I knew GTA 5 was coming out, and my parents did not want me playing GTA. But I wanted to.
Of course.
And I was going to. I don't know what happened to me this one year. I was like, I'm going to do this at all costs. I know how to do this. So what I did, and my mom knows this. She listened to the show, and she thinks it's a funny story now. At the time, I had the game Army of Two. I don't know if you know that game. It's a random shooter game.
Yeah.
And
I've heard of it.
I decided to order the sequel. And I asked my mom if I could buy it off Amazon, off her account. Army of Two, the Great Two. And she was like, yeah, sure. So I order it. So she has an email to show that. And she knows something's coming for me. I then cancel it because I also know my mom was not checking her email for these orders. I cancel it. I then instead pre-order GTA 5. And I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And if she calls me out on it, I'll say, but you said I could, and just gaslight her into thinking that it was a game but the other option.
Oh, the gaslighting your mom there. I remember these days. I remember that.
I could just go into it and try to gaslight her.
Yeah.
And maybe it will work. And but the other option, which did happen, is that she didn't know. And instead, I remember being in my room playing games, and my mom opens the door and is like, hey, your game came. And it's in a package. So it's unopened. And she hands it to me. So she handed me GTA 5, and I was like, cool. I'm also going over to Colton's tonight with the game. And we had a huge party over at Colton's place.
Oh, that's the best.
Of all of us playing GTA 5, because I was the cool kid who managed to make it happen. Thank you, Mom.
That's great.
I was totally ready to try and gaslight her. I don't know what happened to me for a moment.
Yeah, GTA 5, I was definitely old enough to play. My parents didn't care at that point. So that one I just straight bought. I was probably, I think I was working by that point.
It came out 2013, I think, originally.
Yeah, I was already working like a job by then, so my parents did not care what I did.
I was still 15 at that point.
Yeah.
So my parents were still a little bit, they were starting to loosen up on stuff, but that game in particular, they're not going to be fond of. I do remember like a year or two later.
15 is an awkward phase because like 16, he's getting older. 15, he's got like another year.
Yeah.
14,
no, that's a kid.
Probably shouldn't. 13, nah.
But I remember like a year or two later, my dad walking in while I was playing GTA. And he didn't say anything. He would do this all the time when I was playing games. He would come in, he'd just sit on the couch with me, and then just watch me play for a little bit. And I was doing that. And 2 years have passed since I've had the game now. And they never knew. And I'm playing. And at the bottom of the screen, whatever mission I'm doing, it says, get the meth. And my dad reads that. And he says that. He's like, get the meth. And he's like, does Mom know you have this game? And I'm like, yeah, she gave it to me.
Technically, she did.
And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, cool, great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, me and GTA, bro. I made it happen. I love that game.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Those are the days. I miss being a kid.
Yeah, we saw a movie.
The creator. Middle of the episode tangent.
Yeah, that's par for the course now with every episode, it seems. I'm fine with that.
Same. I love it. I think the best part of the creator is for sure the cinematography.
Okay.
I think that there were some just gorgeous shots. You know, like when they're doing their aerial and they're showing the big scanny thing. It's targeting. Kind of weird. The big the big
okay.
the big checkout at the end. But like everything that they were showing, I was like, wow, this looks beautiful. It gave me I had that same sense when we were watching Avatar, just watching.
Yeah.
Whoa, this looks so cool. And the CGI, man, the CGI
everything looked
good.
Dope in this movie.
CGI was on it. Whoever's doing the CGI here, Marvel, you need to slow down production. Hit up these guys because they're doing it right.
It was real. It was so fun.
They made the droid look so much better than any Star Wars droid. The suicide bomber droid, he was so cool.
That was just a big trash can though, running down the bridge.
That thing was awesome.
Now I do have to say that Nomad, the huge super weapon that the U.S. has that they built and poured trillions of dollars into. Now it looks super cool. And when the blue rays are going over the land and looking for its target, looks really cool.
In the water. Oh,
of course, we love water here. In our home, we love water.
I'm a water main.
He is a water main. But that said, I could not get over how stupid of an idea it is to have your $1 trillion system broadcast the strike coordinates of anywhere you're about to shoot at all times. You could see Nomad from miles away and it's coming towards you. We all need to go. We can see it. Why is it visible? Why is it below the clouds?
Dude, they're just trying to... Look, David, they said, what kind of super space station weapon could we create that's the most American thing possible? You'll always see it coming. F yeah, America, baby.
Well, I got like Predator missile vibes from it, from like what we've actually experienced with like the Middle East and all that.
Yeah.
That was the vibe that the weapon gave me. That said, in real life, they don't have it visible.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is kind of silly. It was really just for visual effect.
It really was.
It looked super cool.
It did, but also,
like, man, it got really cool.
But then you're watching, you're like, the fact that I can see it is kind of like, why can I see it? It shouldn't be visible at all. You pour the $1 trillion into it. It should be invisible. It should not exist. It's just gone.
So
but then
cool.
then you see the curtain of blue, and you're like, what a dumb idea to make sure everyone can see where I'm shooting at. When at the end of the movie, you can see that they don't need to do that.
But it looked so cool.
I know it did.
That's another thing. Maybe they'll expand into that if they did a prequel. I really do think a prequel is needed for this. I think they're going to do a second movie and then maybe a prequel. Mm-hmm. I would love maybe even just like a limited series prequel explaining everything going on.
I don't think they're giving us a prequel.
I don't think they will either.
This needs to be $1 billion franchise for them to think about doing a prequel.
I really hope this movie does well because I want more. Like, I want to know more of how we got to this scenario and what the writers thought to get there.
Yeah.
I really loved it.
Yeah.
I want more of it.
I think they're going to try and do a sequel because I think the natural thing that happens is we follow that character, the child, who becomes a leader, and now we watch him like take on the world.
It's a her.
I'm sorry, her, yes.
It's Alfie the girl.
I'm sorry, yes, her. You're right.
No, I mean, I see your confusion though. It's just a bald kid, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. She was like 5. It's fine. But that, I don't think we're getting a prequel. It has to hit $1 billion freaking dollars for them to do that. Maybe
that actress was pretty good too. The child actor. I mean, there was a lot of good acting in there. The only times the acting ever fell off was when they were in like the tribes of the AI, like the guy who imprisoned Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
That actor, it was very off. Everything about him was just always like he was always on, you know. Even when he's trying to explain, you know, what was going on, he's like, "You people, you're trying to kill us," and he's talking to the girl. He's like, "You're the girl that's gonna save us." Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you mean. It was all
tone. He was one tone the whole time, and it was go, and it was like go away.
I mean, I feel like because I also got like Vietnam War vibes from this, and honestly, like, I don't think that's a far off kind of personality that some people in the midst of war might have.
Yeah, I guess.
Of like, but yeah, as an from an acting standpoint, because it was a film, like, yeah, kind of one note on him.
And then he died, got a big old hole blasted in him, huge, biggest hole any AI has in the movie. Because when they shoot the AI, it's like a big hole in them and they die.
Mm-hmm.
For this guy, he got the biggest hole out of any AI.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, he just stands back up and walks away.
Yeah, apparently.
Don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know if maybe the kid brought it. I thought that's what they were going to lead to, was that the kid could bring the AI back.
That's what I thought they were alluding to as well.
But they never really touched on that. So I'm assuming that that's not what they meant.
Which, if that is the case, my theory of him being the AI Jesus is even more on point.
Scary. AI Jesus. That was cool. They were all like worshiping like their creator, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it's AI. It's a form of new race.
I just thought it was very interesting. like like religious architecture and buildings throughout history is something I actually am really fascinated by. So when they were showing like temples that the AI has built with the thought of religion, whatever religion looks like for them, where like instead of people in prayer positions, it's robots, and they were different designs of robots too.
Yeah.
Depending on what iteration they were. That was really fascinating to me to see that that's what's carved into the walls in this architecture.
Yeah, it was kind of like you can definitely tell that the creator who created these AI robots was a Buddhist or had Buddhist mentality, because that's exactly what their whole religious aspect was it wasn't necessarily that when we, the AI, die or move on, we go to a higher power. It's that we want to find inner peace in ourselves.
Yeah, but they were talking about heaven so much in this movie, though.
Well, that was what they were trying to differentiate, is that when the human die, you go to heaven. When we die, nothing. We turn off.
Yeah, but even then, the kid is very determined about, I want to go to heaven. That's all I want, is to go to heaven. They don't bring up, if they are supposedly Buddhist about it.
Well, that was a thing, huh?
Yeah, you know what?
I actually don't like architecture, to be honest.
Okay. All right. you know what's great? I have more to say about it, but you know what? For some reason, I'm going to choose not to go into it.
Good. Don't.
As if, maybe there's like a storage issue, and I'm being told not to. Okay, so
take that as a sign.
As if there's a technical difficulty, and so maybe we should just wrap up the show. Okay, maybe that's the case. Okay, I could go on and on.
We could have got the whole tangent up I have a lot to say about.
We were gonna do such a huge tangent, and you know what? Maybe we did. Maybe we did do the tangent, but I'm not going to. As if we had a technical difficulty. As if. So you know what? Just get the banana meter. Just get the banana meter.
Where do you keep them in here?
They are all.
There.
I luckily have a closet over there, and so they're just chilling in there waiting. Yep, they kind of just. I've been training them with the new house with the carpet. They're not allowed to walk that much. So only one of them. They have to hand the banana meter down the line.
Just put it there. Put
it down. Get back in.
They're like super nervous. They're kind of like they're like anxious. They're trying to get used to the space.
Yeah, well, I've had to, I've learned a lot over the past year with them. So I'm in the new house. I'm trying to train them to be a lot better, and they're doing great so far. Yep, close the door. Go ahead, close the door. I'll get you guys later. It's fine. Yeah, you'll get food later. Bye-bye. Okay, cool. You want to go first?
No, start it off.
Okay, all right. I'll go first. As if we had okay. I really like this movie. I think sci-fi in general, I'm a sucker for if they do a good job of actually giving me a world that they start to flesh out. Like start to.
Yeah.
Because I actually I enjoy having the questions.
Right.
My biggest hope is that they continue doing, like, make some more, like make a trilogy out of this. Would be more. Phenomenal. I would love that. So I really enjoyed this movie for everything we talked about, and it made me think. I really think the religious side of it that they went into was probably the most fascinating type of sci-fi to go into with this concept, because I've never seen that in regards to AI before in a movie. So for me, I'm gonna give it I'll give it a 95. I really liked this movie. You made a good choice on this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I had high hopes for this movie. I mean, personally, when I saw that, I think for a lot of people, the turnoff was that it's the director of Rogue One. So it was kind of like, is this going to be just another Star Wars movie? Because they were really promoting that part of it. Of this is the guy that made Rogue One.
Yeah.
I had high hopes personally going into it, and I'm very satisfied with how it turned out. I love the way they structured the movie, where they put up the title cards and everything. I really liked that. I think the story just needs to be dived into more. It's a story that is interesting. Mm-hmm. There's some corny moments, some corny writing in there.
Yeah.
For all of that, and intended, I really like the sci-fi aspect and going into all that more than the love story of it, to be honest. And I think they were trying to push on some of the love stuff a little bit. But for me, I'm gonna give it like a 93.
Okay.
That's just personally because I think that there are just a few things about it. This is like one of the first 3 movies where I felt really critical about.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed the concept and I really loved the idea of the movie. That there are moments where I'm like, bro, this is kind of corny. This is kind of weird. Or like more explanation of this.
Yeah.
And I think so I don't think that 93 is necessarily me, going lower than you because it's bad. I think that my expectations, I know that they can do more. I know that they could do so much more, and I am excited for more movies to come out because I want that score to just keep going up.
Yeah.
So
I think this score could be dynamic depending on if they actually do put out more of this IP.
Yeah. This could be the start to a great series in my mind, and I'm bummed how it ended only because I really like Mr. Washington. I think he's a great actor, and I think he was a great choice for this movie. And I'm bummed I won't be seeing more of him.
Yeah.
But I loved him. He was so good.
He was really solid. He did really good in this film. Yeah. I loved it.
He killed it. He killed it. And honestly, I would have loved to have seen, because he's one of the only people that gets it, like, to bridge the gap between AI and humanity. So it's just, I loved his acting, and he had such good depth. So really carried the kid along, because if the kid was the only, you're not going to watch a movie where the kid's the main actor. That's always boring.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. All right, well.
That's a review.
That's it.
If you want to listen to our theology debate,
no, we didn't.
Maybe we'll put out.
We didn't have that. We didn't talk about it, okay? Because there, as if there were a technical issue. We didn't talk about it, okay? The AI shut it down, okay? We had a whole tangent and then noticed that things weren't doing so well on the camera, so that's fine.
Whoops.
That's fine. It's our show, not yours.
If you want to have a discussion about the religious aspect of this movie, hit us up on one of our socials, on Straight Dude Date Night, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Maybe I'll make a post. Debate down below.
No, we're not having debates.
I love it. If you're going to debate with us, just have a brain cell, please. Because most people trying to debate with us on the internet have less than one brain cell.
Dude, that's the shorts mentality though. Yeah. Of when we put out the shorts, the people who watch that, maybe you do and you're not like this, and I'm sorry, but the majority of people who watch them they have actual brain rot. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Yeah, it's something else. But yeah, like he said, all the socials. If you also want to leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that would be great. That would be Pog.
That'll help with the technical difficulties.
Yeah, maybe you'll get the rest of that discussion that we had. And also tell a friend. Tell a friend, subscribe on YouTube, leave a comment, leave a like.
Subscribe, all of it.
All of it. And we appreciate that you watch this show. Yeah. That's it, I think.
AI. It's scary, and it needs to be regulated. And the fact that we are just now having discussions of the regulations means we're already too late. It's literally too late.
Leave a comment down below about all the laws and regulations that you think should be implemented to prevent this type of AI uprising from happening.
You have to be worried about the AI. It's coming for all of us.
It is.
It's going to happen.